Good afternoon. This is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com, and today I am reviewing a gap that actually happened from Friday. I didn't have time over the weekend because I did a gap class. I was going to do a video over the weekend on this one from Friday, and in the meantime now I'm doing it today, and lo and behold, today it worked out exactly like I thought. I made a nice call in my trading room this morning, although I don't think anybody had as much conviction in it as me to go to $20, which it did. 2001, 2001. Oops, there it is. So let's talk about today first, and then I'll go over the gap from Friday. Today I said this is in play as long as it holds over the high from Friday, which is 21.08, and I said it's perfect. Perfect if it can't get above $21, and poop, it couldn't. I called a trade in this as soon as it opened, and it was very low volume initially. Hold on. Let me just go to show you. Really nice call I made in this. At the top, fancy that. All right. So as soon as it's open and held here, I told everybody they could short it. I actually just said short and put the stop over 21, and people did. And then I said you could still short it here at 79, 20.79. I said either way, just put the stop over 21. Then it had a hard time breaking in here under 50. And when it came in here under 50, I think this is where a lot of people got out of it. You really would have had to have a lot of conviction to hold this down, but they did get half the move. And this is a continuation gap from the gap failure, the gap down failure that happened on Friday. But I knew the gap was good from Friday. And therefore, I knew it would go today, which is exactly what it did. And they usually retrace at least half of the move from the prior day, and in this case it went more than half. $20 was the whole number. $20 was the target. I said 20, 25, $20, but actually this fell into the $20 area then into lunch, and it went more than halfway down at the bar from Friday. So it was a beautiful play where this is the kind of thing where in the morning it's so sketchy, the bars, you just take it at the number. You take it at the number, you short it, put the stop over 21. And you have to have a lot of conviction to do this, and it has to be in a good gap. The gap from Friday rated good. Now, the fact that it didn't work right is something we're going to go over in a minute, but they typically, if they don't work the day of the gap, will go then the next day. The re-entry on this, or the add, if you stayed in this and had conviction to hold it to 20, was when it rallied back up here. So first of all, everybody was in this in here in the room. I said lower the stop. We can put the stop over 20.75, 20.76 when it rallied back here. If you're trying to get the bigger target, at least put your stop here so nobody loses. Then it drops through. Now this is into the 10 o'clock time. Rallied back up here, 20.72, 20.72, 20.72. Look, over here, 20.71. This is Friday, though, okay? This is Friday. It doesn't matter. You short it then into the resistance for the add or the second trade. And then you take it down to the target, which was $20. What time did I get there? Forget. I mean, the market was pulling everything in here. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. So fell through the lunchtime. The only way you can hold on to something like this is if you have conviction in it anyways to this kind of number. When you're not clear if the market's going to rally up or go in. Now, the market came in today. However, you didn't know that when you shorted this stock here out of the morning because the market was gapping up. And this stock opened and gapped down. Now, not a lot, but I really knew this was going to work today. Just knew this was really going to work today. I said, this is the best thing we should just watch today. Because none of the new gaps I wasn't crazy about today. And this is exactly, look how beautiful this thing played out. This is perfect. The numbers in this are perfect. The number this morning was perfect. The fact that it didn't get over 21. And then the rally back into resistance is perfect. Even I don't know why I'm amazed every time I see this. The perfection in the charts that exist in what? Beautiful, beautiful golden gaps. Now, what happened with this on Friday? I like this gap on Friday as a short. It was a gap down. It was my top watch. As it turns out, it didn't work on the day, but I didn't buy it. You don't go against the direction of the gap, specifically if it rates high enough to play short. Now, it did not play through. It did not end up breaking 19 or 18.95. Is it going to at some point? Absolutely. And today confirms that as well, by the way. So this stock is going solid red today. And the gap failed on Friday. And when it opened Friday, it stayed under. The low was 1915. The pre-market low was 1912. That doesn't really have any meaning necessarily. It didn't break 19 right away. Again, that doesn't mean anything specifically because they don't have to break that within the first 15, 30 minutes of trading. But it's set up fine on the 15-minute. What happened with this was, all right, see here, this is Friday. I don't like to short into 2 green 15-minute bars, but I didn't have that here. This one went green, and this one came up, and it actually held under $20, which I said as long as it holds 20, it's good. So this was a short in here, down. Then at one point I said to lower the stop over 75, is to put it at 1980. Then it even did this tail here, but it blew out then. It blew out and continued, and it should have held 1975, and it rallied then and got lifted up through everything else into the close on Friday with the market. There was nothing wrong with this. This looked great in here, and it really should have broken, continued lower. Why didn't it? Who knows? Sometimes these things fail on the day, but then they go the next day and follow through and then crush themselves and break, which is why you don't flip them, because at any point in time, this could have crushed itself and flipped on the day. Because the real momentum in this is on the short side. The real money is selling out of this stock. What happened today was a gap failure on the day, but not overall on the chart. And today proved that. As nicely as it's traded, as pretty as it's been, as terrific as it's beautiful, the entries, everything about it today. One thing I noticed and saw right here I want to point out, which I'm never going to forget, is once this does this kind of rally up into its 9:45, which is the maximum time for this thing to really hold and stop rallying, and it did, and does a sandwich here, and then it does a green bar here, right in here is where it said to everyone to lower the stop. And you'd still be money up in this. You would have got out of this okay, either flat or with some money if you had taken the original trade and stuck with it and then lowered the stop. You wouldn't have lost in it. That's the beauty of it. I do trade tight on the days of the gap, and there's a reason for that. But it didn't continue down here, and it's getting late. And when this thing, look, 1949, 1949, 1949, when this started to base out here and then do this buy set up here in the 5, it was all over then, because then it took off and it blew up, and then the market carried this up. It carried it through into a rally. You see that? It's interesting. Even though I'm looking at this now, it doesn't feel like that was buying to me, even on Friday. It was just a rally into resistance. That's all that it was. It wasn't strong buying. There's a couple sizable bars in here, but I can count them. There's not that many. This is more like it's just getting a lift, which was with the market. Just short covering, really. If you look at the larger time frame here on the 30, this is what we're discussing this morning in the room. If you looked at this chart, would you say the stock is, first of all, if you look at this chart, would you buy it? Would you buy the stock? No, you wouldn't buy the stock. The stock's in a downtrend. It's holding on a 30-minute chart. And even this thing that it did on Friday, look what it did. So that's what it did on Friday. Rallied up into resistance right there, back from beginning of the month. You can see it here really well in the 30-minute chart. And so if you saw this chart, what would you do? Would you shorted this today? You should. You betcha. That's what I called. It is a short. The gap was a short, and this is a short. Now, it didn't work right the day of the gap. It doesn't matter. The stock is still in a downtrend. And all it did was rally into resistance. Here you can see it, and it's very clear now. You would not buy this. This is in a downtrend. And on the 60, you can see it too. You can really see it on the 60. It triggered on a 60-minute sell setup today when it opened this morning, and it also triggered on a 30-minute sell setup today when it opened this morning. Continuation through from the rally on Friday, but in the trend down in the correct direction of the gap. After all, this is a watch to break 19. Now, will it do it tomorrow? We have to see how it acts, how it trades. But this definitely is going to break. It just wasn't ready to break on Friday. Still a beautiful bearish gap and a really nice plane today with the perfect numbers. And when you get something like that with perfect numbers, you just see it, it sets up, you take it. So this is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com. If you're interested in more information on how to learn from me, how to read charts like this and trade gaps, then email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. The next gap class I'm doing is April 13th and 14th. If you would like to sign up for that class, please contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com so you don't get tripped up in things like this. You see, this is absolutely was not a buy Friday, and it's not a buy. The chart is lower, and it's clear in the bigger time frames. If you ever get confused and you're not sure, then get bigger with it. Get bigger with it. Look at bigger time frames. Even though you're a day trader, you might be trading, these minute time frames. It doesn't hurt you to look at the bigger pictures. That can only help you. That is only going to assist you in getting the correct directional bias, because that is what you have to do if you want to make money, at least consistently anyways. This is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com. Thanks, and have a great day, everybody. It is March 25th, Monday. Happy holidays to everyone, and have a great afternoon.